I guess it's fight week again. So I know it's a bit of a cliche question, but how are you feeling ahead of this weekend?
Man, actually super motivated. I had to be in a bubble here for 17 days, and we're coming up in the last couple of days. But honestly, the PFL did a great job, setting us up. Super just in my head, just ready to perform.
Yeah, I heard about the bubble being like a little bit of time. I mean, I'm sure it's been part and parcel of what we're living in at the moment. But 17 days, has that been challenging? Just sitting around, kind of just in your own head, waiting for the fight?
No, I like it, man. I feel like I've just been able to work through all the things that I need to work through mentally. I got to work through it. My coaches are here, so we're getting a lot of time to fine tune the game plan, because this is a tournament. I fight in 7 more weeks, so it's not like one fight and I got a lot of time off. So the more time I get with my coaches, the better. And honestly, I'm excited to see how good I can get. I don't remember the last time I could train back to back like this, and and have fights like coming up.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, man, because obviously at this stage of your career, you've been at the highs, you've done it all at this point. Has going to the PFL and getting ready for a tournament like style bout and succession of fights, has this been rejuvenating for you? Have you found yourself probably even more motivated than you realized you were going to be at this point?
Yeah, for sure, man. Super motivated. I feel like, just the foreign place that I'm at. I grew up in the UFC. I grew up in the WEC. All my fights were under that banner. And then to be here with a new organization, kind of one of the biggest names on the card. All the other fighters are, coming up to me for pictures and autographs and stuff. Like, it's pretty cool to have that, and like, it feels good to be here, honestly, man. Like, and they're actually giving me a great platform. We're on ESPN. They're, giving me a main event, great first fight with Clay Collard. I'm excited.
Yeah, look, I think since you've left the UFC, you've been very respectful about your time there, and I understand that. But we all know at this point, the UFC is like a machine. And I think it sort of just churns people over and keeps you moving. Have you gone to the PFL and felt like they're treating you like a big deal, like how you want to be treated, that you feel, oh, I am one of the stars here? Does it feel like that again?
Now, you know what? The UFC did a great job of that for me. I mean, all my fights were, big level fights. Besides the last, last one, actually, like, they put me on the undercard, but they knew that's my last fight on my contract. So it makes sense. I can market somebody that's leaving. Yeah, the UFC always, I was on marquee fights. I was always a big name. I was well taken care of over there. But I feel like over here, it's like, it's all about me. I'm the main event. I'm the guy who everybody's coming to see. So it feels good. I like that pressure. I like to have that pressure of me having to perform.
Well, it's sort of almost, and by no means are you an old guy who's sort of sticking around, but it almost makes you one of the veterans, right? If you go over there and you're the main event, you're the main attraction, I feel like everyone on the card is almost looking to you. It's like you're the guy who's spearheading this whole event, spearheading this whole week for the PFL. I can imagine there's some pressure with that, but I can also imagine that being enjoyable, no?
Most definitely, man. Definitely. I mean, the room I'm in, the environment they gave me, I mean, pretty much anything I need, they're taking care of it here. And like I said, for 17 days, at first I got here, I'm like, man, that's so long. I don't know if I want to do this. The first 2 days, you got to be in your room for 48 hours until we can get cleared out. But after we got out of the bubble, into the bubble, and seeing like all the training rooms, the food, all the stuff we have access to, they did a great job of putting this together. And the hotel ride is amazing, honestly. Like, I've never been to Atlantic City before, and I'll definitely come back and see this place, because I haven't got to go outside yet. So been in my room the whole time. But yeah, man, it's been a pleasurable experience so far.
Yeah, I've had to do a couple of those 48-hour quarantines, and I don't know if you found it the same as me, but the first day, fine, I'll watch a couple of movies, chill out, and then it's when that the end is near, that's when you start going crazy. I know, like, the last 4 or 5 hours, I was just at the door, like, please let me out. It's
man, I had weights. I was in here, like, not cut weight, but maintain my weights. I was trying to figure out how to get workouts in, hitting jump rope in my room, and I actually had a good time, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm sure everybody, like, it's a long time, but like, I've had a lot of time alone to, like, work through my thoughts and get so much stuff done, bro. It's been a good time here.
Well, I suppose if you're busy all the time, right, then being forced to take a step back, it's actually kind of almost like a nice break.
Yeah, super nice, man. I'm literally just sitting around training, like doing my 3 training sessions a day, and then some interviews, some media, and then literally just worried about the fight, weight cuts, and game planning.
So we'll get into the fight. How are you feeling about your opponent, Clay Collard? And have you heard much about him before? Have you watched much tape? How are you feeling about him specifically for this fight?
I didn't hear much about him before, honestly. Once I found my opponent, that's when I That's when I got started studying. Duke started watching tape on him. It's hard to find film on him and the mixed martial arts, because he hasn't fought mixed martial arts in a while. But we saw his last boxing fights. He's been staying busy. For me, I feel like he's in for a long night, or actually a short night. Just the amount of skill I bring to this octagon, man, and the motivation I have right now. I just feel like he's not going to be on my level with it. Especially just boxing. He is a mixed martial artist. He has some kicks, he has some wrestling, he has some jiu-jitsu, but he fancies himself a boxer. So I got way more weapons than he does.
Yeah, and I don't know how much you'd want to sort of play up to this, but I can imagine for a guy like this, who, like you said, is not as experienced as you, I can imagine for him, like when he gets in there, he's staring across from former UFC lightweight champion Anthony Pettis. I can imagine that cycling him out almost. I just don't feel he's ever experienced someone of your fame and notoriety.
Yeah, man. When I think about it, I'm like, where does he pose the most threat? Honestly, the most threat he has is that he doesn't have nothing to lose. He's going to go in there and literally he's supposed to lose. I'm supposed to go out there and be the main event and make this a quick fight. So I feel like he's going to go out there, bite down on his mouthpiece, and just go for broke. But nothing I haven't felt before. I felt at the highest levels, and I felt it with guys with way more skill and talent. So I'm gonna go out there, breathe, get myself present, and just have fun at that octagon. Not even octagon; it's a decagon now.
You got to get used to the new terminology.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned your opponent likes to box, and obviously that brings me nicely onto the next thing I wanted to ask you about. I don't know if you noticed, but on Saturday night, there was this little boxing thing going on. Jake Paul obviously boxed Ben Askren. Just give us your thoughts, man, on the short fight between the pair of them.
I had the fight. I was watching the fight. I was watching the event, and then I passed out, man. Like, it was just getting too late over here. We're on the East Coast, so it was like 2 a.m. type stuff. So I think I passed out like midnight, 1 o'clock, and then I woke up in the morning, and I immediately checked my phone. I'm like, no, Ben. Oh, man, he got caught. Like, I know all the text messages and like phone calls I was getting was like, oh, he threw the fight. Like, man, I don't see Ben. Like, Ben's not that dude. He just got caught. Like, he got hit with a real hard right hand, and shit sucks. I hate that it happened, but seeing the numbers that it did, bro, that's awesome. Even though Ben got, what happened to Ben, like he was a retired fighter. He came back in and made some great money. Obviously he doesn't want to, no one wants that to happen, but it is what it is.
Yeah, man, the whole, he threw the fight thing, I think that just comes from like casuals who don't usually watch combat sports, because I don't know about you, but if I was going to throw a fight, I probably wouldn't like smash into the canvas on my face. I think anyone who's watching sports can tell that he just got rocked out of nowhere. It's a weird one.
Yeah,
but I think for Ben, it's the worst case scenario as well.
Weird guard going. Like, I think he was trying to like parry his hand, and then like his feet got together, and you can't take a punch when your feet are touching close together like that.
Yeah. Did you think it was a fair stoppage? There are some people saying, he should have been allowed to continue.
I mean, boxing, like, you got to look composed. The ref says you step forward, you have to step forward and have some composure. You can't be like wobbly. Yeah. He looked a little. I mean, I think he could have kept going. I hit Ben with some spin kicks in the head before, and he kept coming. He's like a tough dude. So I feel like he could have kept going, but I mean, the ref's the ref, so it is what it is.
It is what it is. And also, I felt bad for Ben because he did look woozy. Yeah. At first, I thought, dude, I think that's just how he kind of walks with the hips and stuff. But I think he did look woozy. I don't know if you were asleep at this point, but earlier in the night, there was a guy called Oscar De La Hoya on commentary. And your manager says you've been trying to fight him and no joy that he's not taking the fight with you. I was curious about that. What's going on?
Yeah, so in December, when I was just done with the UFC deal, actually that's when negotiations happened. We had a call from his team. They were interested in a potential fight in April, and that was going to work out because I wasn't going to do this until April 23rd. The tournament started April 23rd, so we were looking at like first week of April, and I think he wanted more time. So obviously my name, fell out the drawing for that. I heard he was like one against Eddie, but from what I hear on the broadcast, man, he didn't look too good. So yeah. I hope he gets his act together, man. I grew up watching De La Hoya, bro. Like, that's like an idol to me. And, I hear that he didn't look too good on the broadcast, so hopefully he gets that right.
Yeah, no, usually I'm the only Oscar that's got too drunk and is making a bit of an embarrassment out of himself. But, he didn't look that great, man. And supposedly he's fighting in July, and I was curious if you'd seen him because, as you said, man, he didn't look in any sort of state to be competing. And I wondered if you'd have heard that maybe that's why he didn't want to fight you. He wanted to push it back because he's still kind of not really back in the gym yet or anything.
I didn't really hear it. No, I mean, honestly, like after he they pushed it to July, I was like, this takes precedence over that.
If if you aren't the one who's going to be able to fight him, do you have anyone else in MMA that you can see him going against that you'd be interested? I've heard Eddie Alvarez, Tyron Woodley's been a name out there as well. Is there anyone you'd like to see him matched up against?
I like Woodley fight. I mean, Woodley knows how to, Woodley comes from a wrestling background, but he actually boxes. Like he's been in wild card. He actually working on his hands. So Woodley would be a good one. Eddie as well. I mean, but it's just, I'm a striker, man. That's why I was like, yo, I've boxed no one's ever seen my boxing skills because my kicking always takes control of the cage. But so I feel like they need to get a striker out there. They got to get somebody who knows how to actually punch, and then we'll see MMA versus boxing.
Yeah, because it would be, I mean, I'm not really into the whole boxing versus MMA thing all the time, but it'd be a bit of a trip if De La Hoya could take like however long he's taken off, obviously not treated his body very well, then come in and beat like a top level MMA guy. So it would be nice to see a striker in there with him. Same question, man. What do you do with Jake Paul at this point? I saw him and Mike Perry going back and forth. He called out DC earlier, which I think is a bit of a weird one. But yeah, if you're booking Jake Paul, who'd you give him next?
Man, Jake Paul actually looked good. His first fight he fought, Nate Robinson. So I'm like, yo, it's NBA, basketball dude. Like he probably never got punched before. And then to see his structure and like he's throwing combos, he had a game plan, he had structure. So I mean, he kind of knows what he's doing out there. But I mean, if he decides to keep boxing, he has to stay away from real boxers. He's just not. You can't catch up that quick. It's just it takes time and time and time. And I think he's playing it smart, bro. Him picking out Ben like that and then getting that knockout. I mean, he's on top of the world.
It's a weird one, right? Because obviously everyone kind of hates his shtick, but like you said earlier, for Ben Askren to be retired and then have the opportunity to jump back in there to make over $500,000, maybe even $1 million, it's kind of hard to hate on those opportunities for fighters, right?
Man, I mean, hopefully he got some of that pay-per-view, or at least a point of that. Maybe there's some like $1 or $2. Who knows what his deal was? But I mean, for him to come off the couch, he literally just had hip surgery too. I mean, he was coaching wrestling and stuff. But him to come off the couch and make a pay like that, bro. He made more of that fight than he did his whole career. Like one fight off, To see that is just shows these other fighters that the money's out there.
Yeah. Well, man, I'll let you go. I appreciate you taking the time with us and enjoy the experience on this weekend, man. Enjoy the new digs and enjoy
fun, man. I'm gonna have some fun out there.